To have a chance of joining Carolina in the playoffs, Jacksonville still need to win both their remaining games. The first of them is at home to Seattle, who are in roughly the same position. And last week, the Seahawks had a big game themselves against Buffalo. As well as the travelling support, the Bills had Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas both back fit for a game that could clinch a playoff spot for them. Neither was much help in the first half, though. On Buffalo's first possession, Thomas lost possession. Seattle's Robert Blackman knocking the ball loose for his fellow safety Darrell Williams to recover. 3 plays later, it was in the end zone.
Down the sideline, has a man hit there. Touchdown, Seattle, Joy Galloway.
7-0 Seahawks, and Buffalo's starting offense didn't survive the first quarter. On their next possession, Andre Reed hurt his left knee and had to leave the game. Even Reed, though, couldn't have got to Jim Kelly's next pass.
Pressure, steps aside, backside pressure, and it is intercepted. The Seahawks with their second turnover, and this is Darrell Williams. Williams recovered the fumble. Now he has the interception.
That set up a field goal for a 10-0 Seattle lead. There were places that Marv Levy would rather have been. And right there, right then. Things got worse for the Bills, though, as Darrell Williams, having the first half of his life, intercepted Kelly again. 2 field goals later, the Bills were down 16-0. Jim Kelly was blaming his offensive line on the basis that they're paid less than him. The result, excellent protection on the Bills' next drive.
He goes deep and he's got a touchdown, Buffalo.
Jim Kelly came off the field happy, then went back on as Buffalo decided to go for the 2-point conversion. And they got it. Quinn Early's catch, halving the Seahawks' lead at 16-8. As the effects of Jim's motivational speech wore off, his protection wore down. Seattle had 9 sacks in this game, the most costly of them coming in the fourth quarter.
Their own 20-yard line, pressure, Kelly is hit. The ball is loose. Seattle has the ball. Sam Adams makes the play, and Kelly is really nailed. Here's Lamar Smith. Smith cuts back. He's inside the 5-yard score. They're going to add 6, maybe 7 more.
That made it 26-11, and with Jim Kelly's shoulder hurting from the hit that forced the fumble, it was down to Todd Collins to try to bring Buffalo back.
High pulled in. Touchdown, Buffalo, Chris Brantley.
Brantley's first touchdown of the season brought the Bills back within 8, and apparently signaled the start of the rutting season. It definitely meant an onside kick and the chance for Seattle's Carlos Crumpler, one of the great names in the league, to show he doesn't have hands to match. The ball goes right through them. Buffalo recovered, which gave Collins 2 minutes to tie the game.
Deep over the middle, intercepted. Jay Bellamy has the interception.
And Seattle had the win.
On Friday, former NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle died at his home in California. We ask you to pause for a moment of silence in his memory.
The man remembered by fans all around the country last week was the commissioner responsible for helping create the modern game. In the 50s, America's top television sport was wrestling. Just as the networks were beginning to realize the huge potential of football, the NFL's long-standing commissioner Burt Bell died in office, leaving a sudden leadership vacuum. Deadlocked on a replacement, team owners eventually went for Rozelle, then general manager of the Rams, as a compromise choice. It was a good one. Rozelle was a genius at building consensus among self-interested owners. But he not only got them their first big-money TV contract, he persuaded the big clubs to share it equally with the small ones, ensuring that cities like Green Bay could afford a competitive football team. It was Rozelle's idea to showcase 1 game a week on a Monday night. Although it was greeted as a joke when it first aired in 1970, Monday Night Football is now an institution. Rozelle also oversaw the merger between the NFL and the rival AFL, which led to his greatest legacy as commissioner, the Super Bowl. Although the way it grew into a television juggernaut surprised even the game's great visionary.
On the top 10 television shows of all time, it's just saturated with Super Bowl games. And I didn't think it would be set where it could be outdraw traditional entertainment programming to the extent that it has.
In the 70s, though, the king of compromise spent a lot of his time in court wrangling with the Raiders' Al Davis, among others. The increasing use of lawsuits around the league was one of the reasons he retired in 1989.
He was truly a visionary, a great, great commissioner, the likes of which we will not see again.
Oh, by the way, Pete Rozelle also oversaw the opening of the Hall of Fame in 1963 and was voted in 22 years later. We're offering you the chance to go to the 31st edition of the show that Pete started. Last year it was the Cowboys and Steelers. This year's teams are anyone's guess, but you could have 2 seats in the Superdome on January the 26th, along with a week to enjoy New Orleans. That's the monthly prize. There are a good 24 weekly ones, including the official Super Bowl 31 football. To have a chance to get your hands on them is tell us who the current NFL commissioner is. 0891 444 is the competition line. The rates are at the bottom of your screen. I don't know whether it's because we're getting close to Christmas. The options seem to be getting easier. Last week we asked who won the only Super Bowl ever played in the Metrodome, and the answer was the Redskins. We come back in a couple of minutes. We'll be previewing this week's big games, leading you through the playoff picture, and also showing you some of the players who made an impact in the month of November. See you in a couple of minutes.
Will she say, I love it? You shouldn't have. It's just what I wanted. Or will she say nothing at all? The Diamond Solitaire. This Christmas goes straight for the heart.
For hours, looking down at us, drifting. Opium. I'm watching us. I'm a man. You're a woman. It's our secret, but you're wearing it. Opium. For those who adore Yves Saint Laurent.
Quiet. Quiet. The time's come for Ian to retire. We shall miss that buzz every morning, wondering what time he'll appear. So the traditional clock seemed appropriate. Cheers. Like many retiring folk, he's planning to go abroad. But unlike most, he's off to ride the Aussie surf. As if he hadn't made enough waves here. Amanda.
What if technology was capable of loving? Thomson, the innovator in digital technology, offers you a new relationship with TV and video products. A living relationship with objects that love you. Thomson, from technology to love.
Watch your futures end.
We invade our space, and we fall back. They simulate entire worlds, and we fall back. The line must be drawn here.
The battle to save the future
Let's rock and roll!
has begun.
Now!
Star Trek First Contact.
Do you feel a real chemical thing between us?
Uh-huh.
Good. Let's chuck them and get some cool, clean, wholesome pills instead. Hey!
Look, don't move. By the woman. Opium. You the man. Drifting, drifting. I know what's on your mind. It's our secret. You're wearing it. Opium for men. The new fragrance by Yves Saint Laurent.
all the time.
Leave a little bit of yourself on that field.
Men gotta do it the hard way.
Focus. Finish. Let's go. Let's go. Now wear him down. Watch the bootleg.
All right, let's go regular.
He's out of the ball game.
Regular, 51, bingo pick.
No, you got your ear ring in?
No more rocket balls, please.
Bumble. You can't control what just took place.
Come on.
Welcome back. Now, if you've got some chicken entrails handy, you might want to follow along at home a bit later on as we bring you the Blitz guide to predicting the playoff picture. First, though, the short-range forecast for this weekend. Starting with two teams who can clinch their respective divisions with a win. And there's a reason Bill Parcells has been flashing his bridge work lately. The Patriots have won 10 of their last 12 games, and they head into Dallas as the highest-scoring team in the league, behind the passing of Drew Bledsoe and the running of Curtis Martin. Playing the Cowboys on the road, though, will be New England's biggest test so far. The defending Super Bowl champions haven't been dazzling this season, but they've won when they've needed to, and usually with their defense, still ranked #1, despite injuries and the loss of Leon Lett to a drug suspension. Last week in Arizona, Deion Sanders joined the Cowboys walking wounded. Michael Irvin's lone touchdown catch was enough for the win.
That's Michael Irvin, and he's going to score. Michael Irvin into the end zone. Touchdown, Dallas.
The Dallas defense held Arizona to a couple of field goals, and after being sacked twice, Arizona quarterback Boomer Esiason resigned. Seriously, Boomer walked out on the Cardinals this week after they dropped him for the final 2 games, thus saving themselves $350,000 they would have had to pay him in bonuses. Boomer later relented. The Cowboys, meanwhile, keep limping toward the playoffs.
You know, all we're going to ever hear from everybody from the media is how talented we are. Well, Troy hurts before a game. I hurt before a game. We getting guys taking shots before a game just to hear this every week. We winning. We just trying to do our job. And if that's not good enough, and talent, everything else. That's just it, man.
The Patriots played the Jets last week and won comfortably with the usual combination. Drew Bledsoe through the air, Curtis Martin on the ground.
Curtis Martin inside the 5, and he's in for the touchdown.
A note to Patriots players, by the way, soaking Bill Parcells after anything less than a Super Bowl win is probably more than your job's worth. Here's another big interconference game, in fact a crucial one for the 49ers, because after that loss to Carolina we saw earlier in the show, they really can't afford to drop another game. On the road in Pittsburgh, San Francisco's main concern will be keeping the Steelers' Jerome Bettis out of the end zone. The Chargers kept Bettis reasonably quiet in Pittsburgh last week, forcing the Steelers to throw.
Tomczak with the roll and a delivery picked off on the deflection. And then the ball loose, grab by the Steelers. Tomczak fires for the end zone. Johnson. So Hastings it is.
It was that kind of game, full of mistakes, but the Steelers won it, and the AFC Central title with it. The last time these two met was last season's playoffs. The Chiefs had the best record in the league and home field advantage. The Colts had an amazing run going under the inspired leadership of Jim Harbaugh, and they pulled the biggest upset of the year at Arrowhead Stadium. So the Chiefs won't exactly be thrilled to see Harbaugh back in the Colts lineup for this game, especially as Indianapolis finally seemed to be playing like last year's Giant Killers again, with big wins the past 2 weeks over Philadelphia and Buffalo. Kansas City, though, are probably more worried about their own quarterbacks than they are about Harbaugh. Rich Gannon has replaced the struggling Steve Bono, only to struggle himself. Last week, the Chiefs faced their old enemies, the Raiders. Gannon got mugged. Oakland sacked him 3 times and forced him into a safety.
From the 10-yard line, Gannon under pressure, nearly sacked. Just dumps it off, flips it forward.
That was intentional grounding, and it was as close as Gannon got to the end zone for most of the night. The Raiders kept their playoff hopes alive by denting the Chiefs. And here's the full fixture list for this weekend. You know, at this time of year especially, clubs tend to get involved in a lot of charity schemes, you know, asking fans to bring toys to the game or canned food for the homeless. Well, for their final game of the season on December the 22nd, the Raiders are getting into the spirit of things with their own promotion. Tickets for guns. Bring an unloaded firearm to the game, exchange it for free admission. So presumably anyone with a small rocket launcher they no longer use should be able to get the whole family in. Just in case you're ever planning to attend a Raiders game, by the way, here's a list of what you can't bring.
For the safety and enjoyment of everyone, stadium policy prohibits the following inside: glass bottles, thermos bottles, cans, coolers, containers, chairs, drugs, alcohol, picnic baskets, poles, signs, weapons, beach balls, footballs, frisbees, boom boxes, inflatables, noisemakers, or fireworks.
So that Catherine wheel display you were planning for half-time, forget about it. Of course, body armour and ceremonial swords are part of Raider tradition, so they're fine. Now, we've got our guide to the playoff picture coming up for you in a couple of minutes, but first, we're going to recap the rest of last week's action.
Play action by Johnson. He's got Evans wide open in the flat, but he's got Turner wide open in the end zone. Touchdown! Greg Jeffries beaten on the throw. Sanders trying to get outside. Got a block. Touchdown! Now they've got to go for two to tie it up. And here they come. Mitchell throws, knocked away. Harlan Barnett got a hand on it. Intended for Morton.
Gotta get over that hill. Make it to North.
Third touchdown for Freeman.
Big rush and the sack brought down at the 20. That is Harding Nickerson. Over 150 yards on the ground for the Buccaneers. Alstott adding to it, looking for the end zone. Touchdown.
Jim Lowmiller has had a very good season after some bumpy times leaving Washington. Lowmiller able to get it away, and no. Greg, another short drop, pump fake, going for the end zone to Conway. Touchdown, Chicago.
Michael Strahan. And again they go to Hampton up the middle. Touchdown.
Game is on the line. Jonathan Ogden is in the tackle-eligible position. Testaverde throws, and they blunt it short of the goal line.
Not quite, Michael, but it's getting close, and with admissions strictly limited to one from each conference, the teams closest to the front of the ticket queue are all jockeying for position, hoping that they'll be the ones who get to answer Marv's usually rhetorical question.
Where else would you rather be? Super Bowl!
All right, dream sequence over, back to reality and what it takes for a team to emulate last year's Cowboys and win the whole thing. Well, for any new viewers, we're going to start at the absolute beginning. The league is split into two conferences, the NFC and the AFC, and each conference is then split into three divisions. 6 teams from each conference qualify for the playoffs, the winners of the respective divisions and 3 wildcards. Of course, some divisions are better than others, which means a second-place team in one might actually have a better record than the champions of another. That's where the wildcards come in. The wildcards are the best of the rest, the 3 remaining teams with the strongest records, regardless of which division they happen to be from. For the playoffs, the teams are seeded. These are last year's NFC teams, by the way, with the top 2 getting a bye in the first round. The season becomes a knockout tournament. When the conference violence has finally subsided, the champions of the NFC and the champions of the AFC meet in the Super Bowl. And that's basically it. Questions?
What the hell's going on out here?
Glad you asked. This is what's currently going on in the NFC. The Cowboys lead the East by a game over the Eagles and Redskins, while the Packers have already won the Central courtesy of a 3-game lead with 2 left to play. In the West, the Panthers and the 49ers have the same record, but as things stand, Carolina have the edge over San Francisco because they've won both their meetings this season. And that leads us neatly into the NFL's tiebreaker system for separating teams with the same record. The first, as we've just indicated, being head-to-head. If that doesn't divide them, the team's records are examined to see who did better against division opponents, conference opponents, or common opponents. Then it's on to points, who had the more difficult schedule, or the more touchdowns. And in the unlikely event that 2 teams are even after all that, the league abandons science and reaches into its pocket for a quarter. Now, applying those rules where necessary, this is who'd be in if the playoffs started today. Carolina and Dallas would join Green Bay as division winners in the NFC, with the 49ers, Vikings and Eagles filling the wildcard places. That's as things stand at the moment, but there are still 2 games left to play, and the Redskins and Cardinals can still get in if results go their way. In the AFC, the Patriots are in the playoffs and lead the Bills by a game in the race for the Eastern Division title. In the Central, though, the championship's already decided. It's Pittsburgh's for the 3rd year running. In the West, Denver not only has the title, but the best record in the conference, which brings with it certain privileges.
Damn, it's great, isn't it?
It is if you like snow. Being top seeds means Denver have all their playoff games at home. They also get a first-round bye, giving them extra time to work out game plans, get over any injuries, and get into trouble if the coach doesn't enforce a tight curfew. So this is how things look in the AFC, with Denver and Pittsburgh in as division winners and New England hoping to join them. At the moment, the wild cards will be the Chiefs, the Bills and the Colts. Behind them is a crowd waiting to step up if they stumble. So now everything's been brought into sharp focus for you. All you have to do is invite your mates round, try not to get overexcited, and keep an eye on your friendly American football station from now until the Super Bowl on January the 26th. And that's all we've got time for this week, Basil. The big match on Monday night will be in Dallas, where the Cowboys and Patriots will both be playing to clinch division titles. Poor old Boomer Esiason, of course, won't be playing at all this weekend, having been unceremoniously dropped by the Cardinals. I'm sure he'll draw strength and comfort, though, from the fact that he's on the Blitz most valuable player list for last month.
Now the play action, Esiason in the backfield, throws, harder, touchdown. What a throw by Boomer Esiason. Esiason throws deep down the sideline. The reception is made by Dowdell, and he will score.
And Esiason with great time throws, and it's caught for his 2nd touchdown pass of the day. Frank Sanders.
Just inside the Philadelphia 24. 19 seconds remain. Esiason to the end zone. Dowdell. Touchdown, Arizona.
What would you rather be than right here, right now? Yeah, baby, the Bills. We ain't scared you, Allen. We ain't scared because we got Bruce, man. Bad things, man. Bad things.
Ditmer looks, has pressure, he's sacked. Ball comes out, and he is down at that point.
Bruce Smith finishes off a good day with the big play of the day.
They said I was done, over with, finished. Yeah. When they get a load of me.
Tom Zach hands to Bettis. Jerome Bettis
Will you watch number 39?
What's he doing?
He's cheating. He's been holding on. I'm serious, ref. I've been watching him all week. I done turned him into the league. I'm serious. I'm going to keep an eye on you, too.
Looking down the sideline, makes the catch.